Orozco comes into work here in the 8th inning. The Braves have opted to go to the bench for a pinch hitter. Instead of Perry, who was having pretty good success batting .297 against left-handed pitching, they are going to the right-hand batting Rufino Linares, recently called up, who came off the bench last night to drive in the go-ahead run in the 8th inning that made the score 4-3 Atlanta. The Mets eventually came from behind to win 8-6. But here's Linares with a tying run at third, the go-ahead run at first, the infield looking for the double play, and the outfield straight away and playing at normal depth. Jesse Orozco ready to work on Linares, who chases a breaking ball 0-1.
That's a good slider that Orozco has. There you see the slider breaking down for a ball. If he lays off it, it's a ball. Swings, it's a strike. A very tough pitch to hit.
Ooh, good fastball there. 90 miles an hour. 0-2.
Well, Orozco's got an above-average fastball that runs away from right-handers and a slider that comes in. Similar to the kind of stuff that Steve Carlin has. It's just real tough to lay off that slider. You think it's going to be a strike, and it isn't when it ends up breaking.
Now a ball and 2 strikes. Mets 5, Braves 4. 1 out, 2 on, 8th inning.
Linares is spread out at that plate. He just barely takes a little stride. He just picks his foot up. He chased that slider in, Jim, for strike 3.
2 down. So 2 away, and Hubbard is the batter. Hubbard with a double and a home run tonight, 2 for 3. Gibson and Torrey.
We talked about one of the complaints with the Atlanta Ball Club is they just weren't getting clutch hits. Linares unable to make contact. Really a slow roller to the infield probably, if it's not hit to first or third, would have scored a run, and now it's up to Glenn Hubbard.
1-0 as Fitzgerald has to save it. Tying run right there, Murphy. Go-ahead run, Chambliss.
And what winning baseball is all about is picking up the guy in front if he doesn't do the job. At least it seems that way when you're going well.
Ball 2. 2-0.
Hubbard's directly responsible for 3 runs tonight. A 2-run homer and a double that set up their first run. Had a big hit in their rally last night when they went ahead. That was a bloop single over the shortstop's head. 2-run single.
And now it's 3-0 with Trevino on deck.
Could have the go-ahead right here. He might be swinging.
A strike and the count 3-1.
Well, he's taken all the way.
And now they're loaded up. It's just missing. Really a close call on the 3-1 pitch.
Well, he just runs a fastball away. Kind of hard to be low on Hubbard because he's not a big guy. Just a little bit out of the strike zone down.
Might have had a little bit of that strike zone.
So with 2 out, the bases are loaded. The batter is Trevino, who is 0 for 3. Batting .277, 1 homer, 19 runs batted in. Go-ahead run now at second. Trevino fouls it back into the upper deck, and the count is 0-1. Here's Hubbard away to his Lead is first with the bases loaded. And the pitch is outside of the count. 1 ball and 1 strike on Trevino. So Roscoe trying to work out of the trouble that Sisk got into here in the 8th inning, yielding 2 singles and a walk. Tying and go-ahead runs on base. Mets ahead 5-4.
The Atlanta hitters are doing to Orozco is they're making him throw strikes. Runners in first and third, even though you don't like to put the winning run at second, you do have an open base. He doesn't have one now.
And that's grounded back to the mound. Orozco has his glove taken off, and then a toe dance by Hernandez on the bag at first to end the bottom of the 8th inning. The second time tonight we've seen the pitcher's glove taken off. It happened to Perez before, and he's able to throw him out.
Well, we see it again. The ball's hit good right back up the middle. Just barely got it before it got by him and took the glove off, and it's very, very odd.
And then Hernandez makes a fine play to save it. So we'll go to the 9th. It's still 5-4 New York. Linares who pinch hit for Perry. He stays in the game as we go to the 9th inning. George Foster to lead off for the Mets. And his home run in the 6th inning is now the difference in this one. 5-4 Mets in the 9th inning. Foster with 5 hits in the last 2 games. And his average is up to 241. Steve Bedrosian, who was throwing in the mid-90s in the 8th. This going back to the 6th inning with Jeff Dedman pitching, the home run by Foster. And here he swings and grounds one down to Chambliss at first base, and it's 3 unassisted for the out. 1 away in the 9th inning. When the Braves come up in the bottom of the 9th inning, pitcher's spot first, so obviously a pinch hitter, and then Washington and Oberkfell facing Jesse Orozco in the bottom of the 9th. Ubi Brooks, 1 for 3 tonight. Breaks his bat, grounds it down to second. Glenn Hubbard over to Chambliss for the out.
Last night, Bedrosian was the pitcher on the mound when Atlanta tried to protect a 2-run lead in the 9th inning.
He went out. Moore came in. Moore went out. Dedman finished up. Coming up on Nightline, the San Francisco you probably won't see at the Democratic National Convention. To talk with the people whose business it is to keep the conventioneers happy. On Nightline, immediately following your late local news. Fitzgerald takes the strike. For our local stations, at the end of this half inning, following our network commercial, we'll give you a local station break. Swing and a miss, and the count is 0-2.
It sure is easy to see how Bedrosian could be a premier right-hander in the National League with that fastball.
He's speaking Gooser's language.
Well, he sure is. Boy, was Gossi something in the All-Star game?
Well, the point I was making is, funny thing about baseball, if he has this night last night, Atlanta goes home a winner.
Of course, in his defense, of course, later on in the game, after he left, after the first 2 batters, the ball was misplayed in left field. But again, walks got him in trouble. The inability to throw strikes. Of course, in spite of what you think sometimes, it isn't hard to throw the ball over. It isn't easy to throw the ball over the plate.
In spite of what you think, a manager really doesn't know when to get that reliever out, or doesn't always know when to get that reliever, leave that reliever in, take that reliever out. I guess I have to admit it's sort of a guessing game.
Well, you did it pretty well over the years.
And Palmer even nodded to me. You know, he's not going to say it orally, but he agrees with you, Earl. Pitch is high, ball 2, 2-2.
Oh, really, with the success they've had with Donnie Moore here, you could almost create the situation you had in Baltimore with Stanhouse and Tim Stoddard. Of course, Stoddard 7-1, went over to Oakland in a trade for Wayne Gross, and then really towards the end of spring training, acquired by the Cubs. Done a fantastic job for him. But when you had those two right-handers, gave you a lot of free rein as a manager.
Made for more decisions.
2-2 pitch is outside. Ball 3. Full count. Our gun just showed that pitch at 98. And that's a slider lifted to center from Murphy for the out. 6 up and 6 down for the Mets facing Bedrosian. So Atlanta comes up in the bottom of the 9th with the Mets on top 5-4. We'll be right back after this message and a word from our local stations. New York leading Atlanta 5-4. Bottom of the 9th inning. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. By Chevrolet, with the performance, the style, the innovation, the quality, and the value that make up today's Chevrolet. By Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. And by Allstate, for home, auto, business, health, and life, you're in good hands with Allstate. Randy Johnson to lead off in the bottom of the 9th inning. Randy playing third base, alternating there with Oberkfell, but they don't face that many left-handers, so Oberkfell gets in a lot more, obviously. Johnson from Southern California, went to San Jose State University, and he was a very fine kicker on the Spartans football team in the mid-70s. Hits it high in the air to left center field, where Darryl Strawberry corrals it for the out. So 1 away here in the 9th inning, and Claudell Washington will be the batter. Executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Dennis Lewin producing tonight's game, directed by Ken Pouch. Mike Glazo, our technical director. John Bassoni, our AD. Tony Fursley, our technical director. Jim Feeney, unit manager, and Elise Backus, assistant to the producer. Kelly Drysdale up here. Alan Roth, as always, with the numbers in the booth. Steve Hurt down below as Washington lets a fly ball to center field, and Strawberry again will put this one away for the out. So 2 down. Phillies beat Houston. Final score 7-3. That one just ending. And Oberkfell coming up as the Braves are down to their last out. So the Mets are an out away from making it 7 straight. It'd be 11-1 in July. The Braves are an out away from losing their 8th in their last 11. And the Mets, who were the worst road team in the league last year, are not away from going 24-14 on the road this season. That's the best road mark in the National League. And they'd still be a half game in front of Chicago. Strike here, 0-1. Johnson and Stottlemyre watching their man Orozco, trying to nail it down. Low. 1-1. 2 out, bases empty in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Oberkfell pops it up. And this will do it as Backman gets underneath it. And it's still the Mets in first place by a half a game and a 7-game winning streak. And everybody is starting to believe, to paraphrase the old Tug McGraw line from '73. The Mets win it by a score of 5-4 in Atlanta, and will be returning to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in just a moment.
Jim Lampley with one last note from the American League. Bottom of the 11th. Baltimore has just gotten some heroics from Cal Ripken. They were trailing 4-3 after Chicago had scored a run in the top of the 11th. Or check it, that was 5-4. But this was a 3-run homer for Ripken, which has won the game for the Orioles in the bottom of the 11th, giving the Birds 3 straight victories to start the second half of the season. Let's go back to Al Michaels for the final word in Atlanta.
All right, Al Michaels along with Jim Palmer and Earl Weaver saying goodnight from Atlanta. There's the final score again. The Mets 5 and the Braves 4.